Alright. Hello, hello. Greetings, welcome in. Hi. Harrier Citadel here, avian alien sentinel of Fort Mystehaven, perpetrator of creative chaos, general maker of things, and in gift tuber mode today because, hello Bread, hello Calyx, welcome in, welcome in. We have got Wi-Fi issues. We've got Wi-Fi issues, which means that none of my things are talking with one another, hardware-wise. So, my iPhone isn't talking with my computer. My tablet that's got my shortcut keys isn't talking with my computer. And until such time as we get a new Wi-Fi router, that is not going to be resolved. So we are in gift-tuber mode for the meantime. So this is where we are. And all of that madness is because over the weekend, the tree about 6 meters away from my house got struck by lightning. So, yay! Fun times. Ria, you can't blame the Wi-Fi for how hot you sound right now. Oh my word, I was not prepared for that. Thank you, Calyx. Hello? Hello, what? Okay. Huh. Note to self, catch a cold more often? Ugh, never mind. New mic? I did do a little bit of tweaking to it, but aside from that, it's literally just maybe the cold that you're hearing that's got me a little bit pitched down. Although I do admit that I do prefer how I sound when I speak lower. I personally prefer how I sound. I just find that I'm often quite tense, and that has an impact on the throat. It tightens everything up, and when things tighten up, it makes the vocal cords shorter. So, Goodwill soon, boss. Thank you. Thank you, Calyx. And yes, it's good to see you guys. We are going to be doing something a little bit different from usual today, on top of being in gift-tuber mode, and that is we are going to be working on some vector assets. So a while ago we started doing a little bit of cleanup on the glow up that Ebony got during last year's Globy Pause challenge. And he has thus been adopted into Project Mystehaven as one of my teammates. And recently we did a little bit more tidying up on his design, and we determined, this guy needs some tats. This guy wants some tattoos. So I roughed some together, and today what we're going to do is we're going to clean those up in Inkscape, which is a free open source vector editing tool. And that will mean that I don't have to redraw fluffy things. Vector is when you can zoom in as much as you want, but it never gets pixelated. That is correct. That is correct. It is fantastic for a lot of applications. Being able to rescale things is really one of the biggest advantages of a vector asset. So for things like logos or emblems or anything like that, I like to have a vector form of it as well, because you never know when you need it in the ultra highest of resolutions as part of a graphic thing that you're trying to build, and having it in that vector format is really, really useful. So I'm gonna switch to our main screen, and it's gonna be a little bit weird for a second because I need to switch to I don't want to okay, I'm gonna switch into monitor mode. Okay, so you can see the interface over here, and I'm just gonna move myself over this way, park like that. And on this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim a little bit more over here so that it looks slightly less weird. Slightly less weird. Like that, okay. So basically what it does is it takes a bunch of points along a line and converts that into literal vector math. And basically what it means then is that any vector editor of any description, whether that be your layout software or a CNC cutter or a laser cutter engraver, whatever, it's the sort of thing that sort of tool can then decode and trace along those paths with. So whenever you want to do something where you want to get something for laser engraving or what have you, the vector format is really, really helpful to have. Just FYI, in case you guys ever want to start doing CNC cutting of cool stuff, because that's fun. Yay! I like power tools. They're very, very fun to play with sometimes. So yes, this is the first of the two that we're going to work with. It's symmetrical, so it's going to go a lot faster than the other one, because we're both basically just going to do the one side and then copy it and flip it over. And I have to apologize in advance in relation to my internet. With a lot of area outages that are currently happening, I cannot speak for the regional stability of my internet right this very moment. So I hope that the stream stays up, but I can't make 100% guarantees on that front. So if we are lucky, things will keep working. If we are incredibly, desperately lucky. Yay! Ah dear. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to start by taking our image over here, which is what we pulled off of the temporary reference that we did. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take its opacity and we're going to reduce that. Alright, first things first, and then lock. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our pen tool, that one, and we're going to just start at a point. I'm going to zoom in over here. Pick a point, pull that down, drop that there, and what we're going to do is we're just going to start by filling in our extremes. So put something on every corner. That's going to be where the job starts. That is not what I wanted to do. Need to be careful because the combination of Control and Shift are used for navigation, and they also have a wonderful way of creepily rotating things when I really don't need them to. Okay, so I'm going to probably need another control point in between here, but it's fine, I'll get there later. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to place our corners for the gaps first. All right. It's just going to make things a little bit easier for me later on. That one looks really trippy, but I promise you there's method to the madness. And this, I'm gonna do like this. Method to the madness, I promise. Hide these two. Hide this bunch. Grab up to there. One more up such. And madness to the methods! Hello, Sai! Yes! We love mad methods! What? How are you doing? I am gonna do this. I'm gonna close that. Come over here, get rid of you. Get rid of you. Close that. Close that. Move you that way. Okay. Not too bad. I have breakfast. Food is good. Food is always grand. Food is grand. I agree. Okay. What did you have for breakfast? Or do you have for breakfast? While Sai is typing up a response, I'm going to start dragging these lines out, and you'll see that all of a sudden it starts to make these new extra handles. And those you can just push and pull on to get nicer looking curves. Like that. The trick is just grabbing the line in the first place. Like that. There we go. Just 2 fried eggs, put with 2 slices of American cheese and spicy brown mustard, all between 2 halves of plain bagel. Ooh! That sounds hearty. And protein rich, and lovely. That sounds absolutely gorgeous, actually. Protein! Okay, so this node, we're going to do something different with. We're going to hit this, this one over here that says make it smooth, and that way it won't have a weird corner to it. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. Also, make it smooth. Alright. And this one, I'm going to actually drag this one like such. I want it to be slightly concave at the bottom. And slightly convex at the top. There we go. Some iced coffee to drink with a side of buffalo wing flavored Cheez-It. Ew. Iced coffee. Lol. Okay, this is gonna want, this is gonna need one more node, so that it should plug in nicely like that. Just shorten these up so that it gets a little bit of a round corner. There we go. So, slowly but certainly, this is coming together. Actually, we're doing pretty well so far. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set our hydrate timer, so let's do that effective immediately. And have a hydrate while we're at it. Why? Because the mention of iced coffee reminded me that hydration needs to happen. So everyone, acquire your nearest staple consumption beverages, and let's take a sip. I just polished half of my glass of water. Whoopsie! I'm gonna take more of it. That went nowhere fast, but okay, it's fine. Oh dear. Okay. Now, before we do anything else, we're gonna go save as. And I'm just gonna quickly take off my monitor for a second. And I'm gonna just go here because things are all over the show in terms of filing systems at the moment, because once again Wi-Fi is dead, and with that a whole lot of other infrastructure. So I'm gonna just quickly put this in this temporary folder where I copied stuff across to manually. This is gonna go into Mystehaven, characters, Ebony Rambuster, and it's going to be Enforcer 2. Save. Okay. And we continue. Okay. So we've now got some foundations in place. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add another part, which is going to be inside here. And this is going to be the shiny part of our blade. Something like that. Okay. No, actually, I need, once again, another point along this madness. I need it to be a sharp point. I need you to come here. And you to angle like that. Better. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to go to our fill and stroke. We're going to flat color fill, no stroke. Alright. Then we're going to grab this one that we just put on top of it. And we're going to go path and difference. There we go. Now the other one is just cut out. And it's all now on a single object. Woohoo! Just like that. What do you know? And thus we have an axe. Cool. Now what I want to do is I want to add all of these to eek. Object path union. Okay. No stroke, solid fill. There we go. So now these should all be the same item. They're all one piece. Cool. Cool. Now we hide that and show all of you guys, except for those two. So you guys now get put together into a single path. And also going to get filled. Not yet. First things first, let's get some. No, undo. We've first got to get a little bit of shape in them, otherwise it's going to break everything like what we just saw there. Okay. Something like that. And let's make this one smooth. Shorten that. Shorten that. And let's just get a little bit of a curve in here. Okay, that should do it for that one. Come on, just please take. Please take. There we go. Alright, and here. Do I even need that one? No. I don't. Or did I? I didn't. It's fine. Okay. Next. This is going to bend that way. Nearly there. And then this one gets... Nope, no, it's not going to do that. It is absolutely not going to do that. Okay. What we are going to do is we're going to just tuck this a little bit more this way. Something like that. Okay, it looks a little bit weird right now, but it'll get better. So, first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to go path union. So now they're all the same thing. And I'm just going to do that with them. Alright, so that we can see. Grab you, path difference. Okay, now the red has been cut out. Simple and as complicated as that. Simple and as complicated as that. Okay. Now we come over here and we get that alignment nicer, and we take this one and we make it smooth. Just click off and hide that for a moment so that I can get a sense for how that looks. So far, so good. We're almost at something reasonable. This just needs to come in a little bit because there's not enough meat on that corner. And you are going to come in there to make that look sharper. Just like that. Yep, that will work. That will do the trick right there. Okay. And now there are these two, which are going to get put together. Like that. And what we're going to do here like that. And on this side, pull that across like that, and bend that in like so. That works. Put that corner in there. Put that corner in there. There we go. Grab those two, path union, and boom. They are connected. Now, there is a reason why I want all of these to, in the end, all be in the same path, and that is because of usability for future reference. So, I've done some vector work for a bunch of different applications in the past, and amongst those has been large-scale vinyl printing, as well as laser engraving on perspex in the past. I've done some weird stuff, okay? But anyway, what I learned in all of that madness is that if you have multiple objects that overlap each other, sometimes certain software packages don't know which lines are the outer border and which lines are the inner border of a thing. So it then starts making cuts in strange places at the overlap points, and your print ends up failing because you've got these weird little vector outcuts. Almost like when you have a font that gets pulled into like an OBS or something, and then all of a sudden weird little bits and chunks get cut out of your font when you try and make it bold or something. I've seen that happen a couple of times as well, and that's because of a similar thing that's happening. The software just doesn't know which parts of the line to actually work with and which parts to ignore. Okay, so we're almost at the point where we can duplicate this and flip it over. We are not far now. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to make this teardrop that happens on the spikes here. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. So we're going to have no stroke. We're going to put it on a black fill. Bump this across like that. Here we're going to pull this out. Here. No, undo. Okay, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to go copy, paste, flip it over, snap, grab, path, union, duplicate, click, rotate, let's see if we can get that to line up nicely. That's about as close as we're going to get it. Let it overlaps ever so slightly, just like so. Now this one, what we're going to do is we're going to drag that up. And then we're going to grab a rectangle. It's not going to be that broad because ew. There we go. Object to path. Really? Okay, let's do that. Undo. Just take the snapping away for a second. Okay. Group. And here, what we're going to do is we're just going to stretch this out more, just to be sure. And we're going to just drag it down a little bit. There we go. Ungroup, path, union. Okay. Rotate. Like so. Okay, good. There we go, there we go, there we go. So now what we need to do is hide that. And what I want to do is I want to duplicate this. Move it aside here. Object, path, break apart. Boop. Grab you again. Get rid of all of you. Cool. Now what we do is we drop this over here again. Clip. Like such. And I'm gonna just make it that weird color like that for a smidge. Drop it at the bottom so that I can see things. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put on a stroke. The stroke is also going to be our weird green color. There we go. copy, paste. There we go. Stroke style, let's just make it thicker. I want this also way at the bottom. A little bit of a curve there looks good. Otherwise it looks too bleh, rigid in the wrong ways. Want a little bit of a natural S curve on this. There we go. That'll do the trick. So now what we do is we go back to path, stroke to path, grab those, path union, okay, ungroup, U minus U, so that's going to be difference. There we go. There we go. So there we've got a nice clean cutout. File, save. Before all else. Before all else. Okay. So now let's see. This one piece over here I feel is still a bit in the wrong place, so we're just gonna nope. We're just gonna grab both of those and we're gonna just tweak the positioning a little bit. And that looks about right. Okay, that looks about right. So now what we can do is we can grab everything and we can go path, union, and we can then go duplicate, grab, flip, connect, just like that. Hello! Are you going for tribal tattoo coded? For this particular one, yes. This one is situated on Ebony's shoulder, and it's actually used to be a military tattoo that he kind of got butchered. He decided to deface a former military tattoo. Let's leave it at that without being spoilery. I think that is going to be the best way of phrasing it. It used to be a rank insignia. Now let's see. These two I want to Where's the button I'm looking for? I don't think it's... Is it that one? No. Is it... Okay, so I had gaps. This one behaves fine. That one behaves fine. But you guys are a problem. So, those become like such. Those become like such. But you are a problem and you are a problem below. Okay. So that is the hydrate timer, guys. So everyone acquire your nearest safe for consumption beverages and let's take a sip. I am going to need to top that glass up before the next half hour goes by. Alright. So, next run. Timer on. Okay, how do I do this again? I need these two to be connected. What I need is I need to temporarily convert this back onto no fill, only stroke. Okay. Now what I need to do is come over here. Break and break. Here, break, there, break. Then what I need to do is I need to grab you two. Join selected. 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 Make symmetric. Save. Alright. Now I can go stroke off, fill on. And that is our first one done. Just like that. Now that entire thing can be scaled up. To fill up the A4 base page canvas size, and as we zoom in, we've got no pixelation, yay! Align and distribute, let's put this center page, center page. There we go. So there we go. First one sorted. Our enforcer tattoo is done. So now what we can do is I can just quickly hide the monitor for a moment and go export It's a good thing I did that for a second, because otherwise I would have just shown you what my computer's filing system is called. Go in there. Characters. Ebony. Enforce a tattoo. Just like that. I want this to be 2500 wide. There we go, export. Okay, now I've got a really big PNG of that. And now I can go save again. File new for the second one that we're going to do. Because there were two. Let me just drag that one's sketch in place. There we go. So this one is on the upper pectoral, and it is going to need to be in landscape. Why did I just do that? Okay, close you. And this one has some gradients. So this one is going to behave a little bit differently. And also there's no copy pasting. That's going to speed life up a little bit. So this one. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the daffodil and then work our way outwards. Because otherwise it is going to get crazy. Keeping track of everything. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to take our image and we are going to lock that opacity down. And we're going to quickly grab our pen tool, come in here, and I think our first port of call is going to be getting this interior. I think that's going to be our easiest thing to catch first. There's going to be a little bit of subtle curvature in all of this because it is an organic form. So it would be very, very weird if it didn't have some bendiness to these spikes. But what we're going to do is we're going to just go fill in stroke, stroke off. This is loud, but it's fine. Let's dial this up a little bit more so that that contrast serves us. Just like that. Nearly got it. No. Eee. Are you using a pen for this? I'm actually using my mouse. This is a mouse job. I did the initial sketch with the stylus on my graphics tablet, but this is actually being done with a mouse. I mean, you could use the stylus on a graphics tablet for it, but I just find that when it comes to the fiddliness of this particular software's navigation, I find that using the mouse is easier. Different tools for different jobs. I'm guessing vector graphics are less drawing lines and more selecting one point than another and then adjusting the curve. Exactly right. The placement of your curves is pretty much just a matter of taking a handle and wobbling it around. So if you can point and click relatively accurately, vector graphics are very much a mouseable sort of a task. It's point and click and drag. So it just makes sense to me that the mouse would be more precise with this. Yes, exactly, exactly. There we go. Okay, so that is the first piece that needs to be cut out. Second piece, there's going to be I can save myself some headaches by making an adjustment here already. No stroke, red fill. There we go. Nearly there on this one. Come on. There we go. Alright, almost have this. Okay, so that's those two internal pieces ready for cutting out. So now we're going to take those two, path union. Okay. I am in two minds if I'm going to soften this bottom edge. We shall see. In the meanwhile, what we are going to do is we're going to duplicate it. And this one is going to be daffodil gradients 1. Okay. And we're going to go object, no, break apart, group daffodil gradients. Okay. And then what's going to happen is we're going to grab black. We're going to grab a gradient like this. And we're going to move this from here. Come on. Where are you, my gradient tool? There you go. To there. And you are going to go fully opaque like that. And you are going to get that one. And you're going to go from okay, so this one is going to be a different gradient altogether. So this one is going to go from opaque to alpha. Almost got it in terms of the angles. I think we're there. Alright. So those are going to be our gradients for these. So that one gets locked, that one gets locked. Actually, now I'm going to lock the entire group. Collapse. Hide. Thank you! Coffee! Woohoo! Right, next. We need to grab I believe each of these petal pieces. So let's start with that. All right. That should do it. Okay. Oh boy. Next hour, okay. Okay, I'll be done by then. Okay, so next thunderstorm is going to be rattling through in the next hour or so. Yay, I don't know if you heard that on the microphone, but yes. That's the heads up. Just gotta keep an ear open accordingly. Because if the thunder starts rumbling a little bit too close for comfort, I'm going to need to switch off for the sake of preservation of hardware. Oh yeah, now I can hear the rumbling. Weesh. Okay, so I need another node over here. Let's just grab all of these. Like that. They're gonna need some definite refinement, but it's fine. There we go, there we go. Gotta be careful about thunderstorms. Everyone knows electric attacks are super effective to flying types. Oh dear. Oh my. Pokemon science, indeed. Ria, what's your oldest video game memory? Ooh. Probably... the day when the PS2 entered my house, which was rather towards the end of their lifespan. And what happened was that it was acquired, and what my dad did was that he bought it, brought it home, and he put Gran Turismo in. And he just picked a scene where you watch a past race without the UI on, and basically what happened was he called my brother and I into the room to have a look at the cars on the screen. It was like, okay, cool, yeah, there's cars on the screen. And then he said, it's a game, and pointed down at the console. And I think I was more shook that why on earth is there a gaming console even in the house than anything else. that was my first video game thing. They stat actions, yeah. He ended up never actually playing. It was pretty much mostly my brother's thing. I tried every now and again, especially with you know how older brothers are, that competitive. They like having someone to compete with, so I'd often get asked to race alongside or what have you. And I never really got the red mist, as it were, for the PvP sort of thing. And I'm pretty sure that's why I never really lent heavily into gaming at all, now that I think about it. I was just bad. I was just really, really bad at playing video games. So I kind of just, you know what, I'm gonna stick with what I'm good at. Give me a pencil and a piece of scrap paper. I'll be fine. Have fun, Ro. I don't even think that's older brothers. I think that's just brothers. I'm a younger brother and I'm competitive. You know what? Fair. It's something that is definitely known to be more of a generally masculine trait. But let's just say that my brother has acknowledged since that he was a little bit mean about it sometimes. He wouldn't as kids sometimes are. So do you call your big bro Unc now? No. No. I don't even call my uncles Unc. Like, culturally, there is a large section of the population around here that will refer to people as or uncle, or whatever the linguistic nearest equivalent is, when referring to anyone older. But in my demographic and subculture in the country, it's less of a thing. And we need to hit the saver, so let me just hide the monitor for a moment. File, save as. Ebony, this is going to be the Rambuster tattoo. Save. Okay. I think I'm starting to hear. Okay, we've got to go offline now. Sorry, guys. The weather has hit, and with that, I need to make sure that I preserve my gear. So I am going to have to thoroughly but swiftly love and leave you all. Thank you for dropping by for a little bit of vectoring madness. We got quite a bit done, actually. And depending on the weather, I shall see you tomorrow for more work on... Yeah, more work on stuff. Until then, have fun, guys. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, cheery bye.